So after this particular week of NFL action that we have just seen, it is safe to say that we are halfway there. We're looking good now, and nothing's gonna get in our way. But horrible singing aside, yes, we are officially now at the halfway point of this 2023 NFL season. And now we begin our trek towards the second half of, well, the rest of this season. But before we do, let's talk about the week that was in this 2023 NFL season by taking a look at the week that was week 9. So we begin our trek by taking a look at Thursday Night Football that happened only on Amazon Prime Video for that good old $15.99 a month pal, as Kenny Pickett threw a late touchdown pass to Deontay Johnson with over 4 minutes left in the game, and Will Levis tried to pull off a late game-winning comeback, but unfortunately, he was iced at the goal line, near at least, by linebacker Quan Alexander with an interception, as the Pittsburgh Steelers held on to defeat the Tennessee Titans 20-16. Now we get into the early Sunday morning action and began in Germany, as the Miami Dolphins, they stormed back from a 21-point deficit in the first half. It was a 7-point game, and they looked poised to tie it towards the end and force overtime, but unfortunately, they fucked up. And Tua Tagovailoa fumbled the Dolphins' last gas snap as the Kansas City Chiefs held on to defeat Miami 21-14 in Germany. Then, back in the States, after losing rookie backup Jaren Hall, who started the game with a concussion, new acquisition who was traded over from Arizona, quarterback Josh Dobbs, overcame a very bad safety to help the Vikings storm back late in the game with a touchdown to receiver Brandon Powell with 21 seconds left to defeat the Atlanta Falcons 31-28. And don't look now, Minnesota is 5-4 and holding on to a playoff spot and, doing some solid things there. The Baltimore Ravens rushing attack of Keen Mitchell and Gus Edwards combined for 3 rushing touchdowns, and Keen Mitchell, this guy, doing some good things as the Ravens completely shut down Geno Smith and the Seahawks 37-3. Just ouch, man. Just ouch for Seattle. Rookie Clayton Tune for Arizona, who replaced Josh Dobbs, was thrown to the wolves. That was the Browns defense, and they made life hell for him. And Deshaun Watson took advantage of that with 2 touchdowns. Decent showing for that Browns offense, as the Browns pitched a shutout at home 27-0 over the Arizona Cardinals, who, at least good news for them, they get Kyler Murray back this coming week, so that's something, I guess, in this lost season. Meanwhile, in Green Bay, Aaron Jones, the running back, led the charge in a very ugly game against the LA Rams, as they iced the Matthew Stafford-less Rams with a late touchdown from Jordan Love to Luke Musgrave 20-3. CJ Stroud threw for over 400 yards and broke Andrew Luck's rookie record, but more importantly, helped the Texans rally back with a late touchdown to Tank Dell with 6 seconds left to go, and defeated Baker Mayfield and the Bucks 39-37. Big game for CJ Stroud and the Texans right there. The New Orleans Saints defense forced 5 turnovers on Tyson Bagent, and no surprise, it's the Bears. And Taysom Hill, he had a big day of his own on offense. He threw and caught a touchdown as the Saints beat the Bears 24-17. Going to the afternoon slate of games, Kenny Moore snatched 2 pick sixes off of rookie quarterback Bryce Young as the Colts defense tamed the Panthers 27-13. Just ouch, man. Ouch for that rookie quarterback. Then in Las Vegas, in Anthony Pierce's first game as an interim head coach, Aiden O'Connell, the rookie quarterback, set up Josh Jacobs well for 3 touchdowns at the goal line as they dismantled the New York Giants 30-6. But unfortunately, that wasn't the bad news for Big Blue. The really bad Big Blue news was that Daniel Jones, the starting quarterback, who came back from a neck injury, he suffered a non-contact torn ACL in that game. Just the news just keeps getting worse for the New York Giants during this season. But more on that in a bit. The Philadelphia Eagles took on the Dallas Cowboys, and that game was kind of crazy. It was a little crazy. As the Dak Prescott and the boys cut down an 11-point deficit down to 5 late in the fourth quarter, and they were on the verge of nearly winning that game, but they squandered plenty of opportunities to win it, despite the Eagles' own self-destruction on defense. So Philadelphia held on 28-23. Then you had the Sunday night football game of week number 9 as Joe Burrow continued his return to form. He had 2 touchdowns to his 2 tight ends, Irv Smith Jr. and Drew Sample, they got a touchdown each, as Cincinnati held off a late Bills comeback 24-18. And then you had a Monday night stinker where the Chargers defense bullied Zach Wilson into multiple sacks, and that Jets defense had multiple turnovers, while Austin Eckler ran in for 2 goal line touchdowns, as the Chargers, well, I'm not sure what they want to call it on the Jets, 27-6. It was a stinker, ladies and gentlemen. It was a stinker on Monday night. But anyway, that was your Week 9 slate that happened this past week. Let me know how your team did or didn't do in the comments below. But now, let's get into my winners and losers of week number 9. Starting off with the Houston Texans as my top winner of this week. So, the Texans really bounced back well in what was effectively a shootout against the Tampa Bay Bucks. They had a down week in Carolina, mainly had, I guess, defensive issues, and CJ Stroud, having that one game of rookie pains, but they put on a very inspiring performance behind CJ Stroud's best game of the season against Tampa Bay. Stroud, each and every week, he continues to take each and every learning lesson very seriously. And, each week, it's a different week. And this week, he looks more poised, looks more comfortable. And this week, he learned how to play from behind. And it shows that, this team rallies around him. And he put together a good signature win. So as I said before, this Texans team seems like it's found his guy. They thought they had the guy in Deshaun Watson, but then you know what happened there. But CJ Stroud, it seems like it's coming together for them. So maybe it might not happen this season because the Jaguars are there, but maybe give the Texans another offseason to build around CJ Stroud, and they can seriously make themselves a force in the NFL. But for right now, the Texans, they're doing something well for themselves with CJ Stroud. And then you have the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a good performance by Joe Burrow. He's clearly fully healthy now, and he continues to dissect the top competition in these last three or 4 weeks. 3 weeks ago, it was Seattle, kind of a shaky game there. But then it truly began after the bye week with my 49ers. And then this week, it was against Josh Allen and the Bills. But, that Bengals defense also deserves some credit, too, for disrupting Josh Allen in the trenches. And, as they get healthier and adjusted to that offense with a fully healthy Joe Burrow, watch for this Bengals team, to make themselves notice again in that conversation for trying to get full control of the top seed in the AFC. I mean, they'd lose a couple of key games early in the season, but they can still try and grab that number 1 seed very late down the line. So now for my losers for this week, the New York Giants. So going back to my earlier point of talking about that Raiders and Giants game, it's one thing to lose to a Raiders team that had an interim head coach leading its first game and a rookie quarterback practically pretty much replacing the veteran quarterback, that get paid a shit ton of money. And that rookie quarterback is basically be the one starting for the rest of the season, barring injury. But for the Giants, that loss is whatever. For the Giants, though, losing your starting quarterback to a torn ACL, I mean, injuries suck, but it's just the fact that basically says to me that they made a big blue mistake. They basically confirmed that giving him, in my eyes, that is a big blue mistake in giving him a new big fat contract in the offseason. Sure, not everything that's happened so far in the first half of the season is his fault, but it's the fact that the Giants gave him a shit ton of money and now he's gone for the rest of the year, and you still have to pay him a shit ton of money next year, and you can't necessarily release him, and nobody is going to want to trade for him. So you're essentially tied to this guy, and sure, you may get a top 5 pick next year because, well, the Giants don't have anyone else at quarterback, and Tyrod Taylor is still on injured reserve. So the Giants are pretty much stuck. They are stuck, and they don't have anyone to blame but themselves. And then the Miami Dolphins. They really need to prove this week that if they beat the Chiefs, okay, maybe we can start believing them as contenders. But once again, they failed to show up against a top-tier team in the Chiefs until in the second half. They made a couple big plays, and then when they had a chance to go to overtime, they had a chance to, with just a couple seconds to go, it was only 7 points. they didn't look at the snap. They didn't see the ball coming at the last play. They pretty much choked on the very last play of the game. But then even before them, why were they abandoning the one thing that was working? The run. Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert was kind of having a very solid game, if not a good game, because they're attacking a weakness in that Chiefs defense, which was the run defense. So that was kind of working there for Miami. Why did they abandon it at the end when it was working on that last drive? But still, that's besides the point. Until the Miami Dolphins can beat the Ravens, the Cowboys, or the Bills, because that's pretty much their last three remaining good opponents on their schedule, I can't take them seriously as playoff contenders. I mean, at this rate, unless they dramatically collapse against their remaining easy opponents, they might win the division over the Bills, but I seriously can't take them as legitimate contenders. Not they don't show up to play. I'm sorry. So my takeaway from this week, coming out of this week 9, as we head towards the second half of this season, is that, for the teams, for as much as I rave on certain teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, the Ravens, of course my Niners, looking at this week, like how these teams play, it just seems like, I don't know. Am I being too down? Am I reading too much in between the lines? Is it too early to say that we're heading towards another collision course between a certain Super Bowl rematch in February? Is it too early to say that? Might be. Maybe I'm being delusional. But I don't know. Maybe that's how I'm seeing it. Because, yes, we're at the halfway point of the 2023 season, but it seems like the powers that be are doing everything they can to set up a certain Super Bowl rematch. Sure, the defense is carrying, well, I'm just going to outright say it, the Kansas City Chiefs. The defense is carrying the Kansas City Chiefs, but the offense is very inconsistent right now. The Patrick Mahomes is pretty much doing everything he can, but the receiving core is dog dookie water. It is dog dookie water inconsistent. Meanwhile, you have the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 8-1, but their passing defense is so trash. Jalen Hurts has to pretty much save their ass each time. And that's why they're in such close games, because Jalen Hurts has to play out of his mind in each game. And, kudos to Jalen Hurts. He's a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback, but it's just his defense can't do shit. The pass rush is like the only thing good about that defense, but the secondary is not there. It's not there. So, honestly, when you look at the Eagles, they would have a different record had their opposition not shit the bed in those games that the Eagles almost lost. The Eagles just got a lucky break. I'll admit that. They got a lucky break. They found a way to win because the opposition shit the bed. They couldn't close the deal on what would have been their wins. Like the Commanders twice, the Dallas Cowboys recently this week, and then the Patriots back in week 1. The Patriots, they got very unfortunate. The most unfortunate result. So yeah, maybe I'm reading too much into the lines. This too early in the season. It's only like what? Early November. We're only in the second half of the season. Week 10 begins the second half. We're not even into December, which is where we begin the most important stretch of the season, where we really get to see who's going to make the playoffs. But yeah, maybe I'm reading too much into this. But so far, what I'm seeing between the two, we're seeing likely contend people in the Super Bowl. This is what I'm seeing. Both of these teams are getting like very lucky breaks because, well, one, the opposition is like shooting themselves in the foot, and two, well, I don't know if you can say ref ball, but that's what it is. And well, we're just waiting. I don't know. Maybe they're just waiting for themselves to awaken back to form. And if they do, that's a scary thing. So yeah, that is my recap for week number 9 of this 2023 NFL season. And as always, leave your thoughts on this week in the comments below, how your team did, how your team failed to do, your winners and losers, all that good stuff. And yeah, here we go. Second half of the season. What I believe is the most important half of the season as we get into December. Like, it's that fast, ladies and gentlemen. It is that fast. But anyway, and that is the end of another NFL recap video for the 2023 season. I'm your host, Dylan Lasagna. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. Don't have brain farts like me, ladies and gentlemen, but I digress. Until next time, peace out.